Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee. And today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot Deck is Six of Stones and Exploitation. And now this is 3 times within 10 days. So obviously there's still a message here for you, okay, of being exploited. And this comes on the heels of attracting whatever it is you want with this Two of Cups, whether it's a new romance, a new relationship, a new job, however you want to look at it. Filling that cup up, right? And one thing that really came to mind today is when you are out there and you're shining brightly, the light's coming in, you're being that light and people are coming at you. When you're attracting things and you start to have conversations with people, let's say it's a work situation, all right? And people are coming up to you and they're talking to you and they're asking your input, okay? You are the resource for them at that moment, whether that's personal, whether that's work related, whether that's email related, however you want to look at it. It's taking you away from your work to get things done, okay? So you become that resource. And, if people continue to come to you and ask you for help, all right, or just come by your desk to chit chat while you have, projects to work on and stuff like that, they're really taking out your time and energy, okay? They're using you, exploiting you because of the energy that you have, because you're at a high vibration, you're attracting everything. You're starting this new journey, okay, of life and death. You're transforming. And people see that. They don't know what's going on because, maybe they're not on their spiritual path, but you are. All right? And with that, it's almost, I kind of call it vampirism, energy vampirism, where people just want to suck that energy out of you, just bite into your neck and just give me some of that energy that you have because you're the resource. Now, it's okay to, go ahead and talk with people and things like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is guard your energy. Guard the information that you give out to other people while you're talking to them. Because, if you let them know that, hey, if you let them know a little bit about you, I went through a similar circumstance, of, parent passing away or something like that. You've really opened yourself up. All right? You've opened yourself up to a point of, yes, I want to let them be aware that, I have compassion for them, all right? And that, I can empathize with them. But at the same time, as you're opening yourself up, you're becoming more vulnerable. And with that vulnerability, they could touch that. Here's a weak point he likes to talk about. Let's go in there and talk with him about, hey, whatever happened to your parent or whatnot. And it goes back to that resource thing. You're the resource. They realize that they can talk to you about, ailing parents or parents that passed on. Or maybe you divulge that information freely. You've just opened yourself up for them to exploit your resource, right? Whether that's, how you took care of the estate, whether that's, the similarities in, people passing this, that, and the other thing. And it's, I look at it and it's very a fine line, all right? Because you want to fit in, you want to belong. These are, your friends. Okay, you don't think they're going to use anything against you, but yet you don't know if they won't. They could go down somebody else. Hey, did you hear that so-and-so's parents, they passed away? And he's dealt with that experience? You should go talk with them. Boom, here comes another vampire, right? So, even though this card is talking about the exploitation of the planet's resources, you're on this planet. Technically, you're a resource. So, as you're attracting different things going in, be careful of the information that you're giving out. You know, even if you're in a store walking around and somebody says, hey, you know, where is this at? And you say, you know, go talk to somebody else. You just sent that person to the resource of finding that item, okay? And that's good, okay? Let them deal with it. You don't have to answer. You don't, you know, everybody wants to be friendly and try to help other people out there. But let me ask you something. How many people have helped you? Have helped you move on, right? Those are the people that have helped you move on are the people that you can trust, are the people where you're not going to be exploited. Okay, you know, that's in your inner circle, not your outer circle. The ones that you can tell, you know, the secret to, and it's not going to get out there. But, you know, if there's somebody out there that, you know, likes to do this, you know, likes to, you know, smack their lips and talk and gossip, that's not the person you want to tell the secret to. Because 9 out of 10 times, that person's going to tell somebody else, not even thinking about it, hey, do you realize, you know, so-and-so did this? And they're like, what? I can't believe that. They just exploited you. You had that little vulnerability with them, and boom, they exploited it. And, you know, and as a result of that, when you give out information about yourself to others, that gives them a little bit of entitlement over you. That lets them know that, you know, hey, you know, I can talk with this guy, I can talk with this gal about whatever, and they're going to give me some more nuggets. Because they're an open book. If I just sit here and just be quiet, he'll tell me the whole story. So you really have to watch out for those vampires, all right? Because there's only one person you can trust, and it's you. You know, and now if you put your trust into other people, you know, you're going to be vulnerable. You're going to be exploited somewhere down the line, all right? That inner circle is who you really want to keep close, all right? And those are your friends. Your enemies, don't worry about them. They've got enough drama in the world, okay? You know, if this is, you know, and that goes with any type of relationship, a love relationship, a work relationship, you know, a friend relationship, social relationship, however you want to look at it. You have to be very careful with all that. And it's the same is true in career. You don't want to go around telling people you're looking for another job, because eventually your boss is going to find out, and they're going to start questioning what's going on. You know, you're interviewing, you're sending out resumes. That's your business. They don't need to know that. Work doesn't need to know that. They'll find out with a 2 weeks notice. They'll find out when somebody calls and, you know, does a you know, a performance check or whatever, right? But usually managers will keep that to themselves. If somebody off the beaten path comes up, hey, I heard you were doing this, you've been exploited. Okay, and I had just another situation going through my head here a minute ago. I can't remember it. But you have to be very careful on the information that you give out. That's primarily what I'm trying to say here. All right? And, you know, the bad thing about that is, when you do that, people find out, and they start spreading the gossip, you lose faith in them. Oh, I guess that really wasn't somebody who I could trust, right? So, you know, we need to be aware of exploitation and everything, how we use our resources, you know, and how, you know, and that could be financial, that could be physical, that could be, you know, spiritual, how you want to use all that. That way, you know, you be aware of those resources so you can gather more in, all right? Don't misuse these beehives, all right? Don't sit there with your hands out when you haven't taken care of it. You haven't even taken care of the rake, right? Take care of what you can take care of. Sure, there's a fire going on behind you, but that's out of your control, okay? You misused the resources here, you know, worldly-wise. So the fire's going. But if we continue to, you know, guard ourselves against that exploitation, we become better off. We won't suffer, all right? And I'm not saying to end conversations or anything like that. Just be careful. Be careful who you're talking to. Be careful of the resource that you have that you're giving out. So that's today's card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot Deck. That's 6 of Stones and Exploitation. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and give me a thumbs up. And this is D for a Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Stay safe, everybody.